Hi, Democrats. Today is Tuesday, July 18th, and it's time for the Chair's Daily Live. Happy Tuesday. So, I'm in Oklahoma City once again doing the thing that a chair does. And as I was preparing for today, I thought, I wonder if people know what the chair does. So, I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Chair of the Oklahoma Democratic Party, as part of chair, my job is to recruit candidates and support candidates and support our elected officials. Fundraise for the party. So there is an infrastructure in order to recruit and support candidates. Rally Democrats, make sure that Democrats are, know what's happening in the world and know what's happening in Oklahoma and are still loud and proud Democrats. That is the basis. There's a whole lot of other stuff, but that is the basis of what I do. This live is about educating Democrats. It's about making sure that Democrats know what's going on, both here in Oklahoma and abroad. It's to make sure that Democrats feel in touch and know what we have to stand for, that we should be proud of. That's why, that's what I do as the chair. Occasionally, I'm called on to do stuff I don't like. I'm called on to do stuff that surprises me, and I'm called on to be able to participate in some very special moments. And that's what I wanted to talk about today. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to spend time with a member of the parliament in Germany. Don't know why I can't find my words today, but I had the opportunity to spend time with a member of parliament from Germany. And what he wanted to talk about was not just American attitudes, but the attitudes of folks in Oklahoma. He wanted to talk about voting rights, both in Oklahoma and the United States. And we talked a little bit about voting rights in Germany. He wanted to talk about voter ID, voter security, what we think about what's coming down the pike. He wanted to talk about the upcoming election. And I was honored to be included in that conversation. But as I sat there enjoying a pretty good lunch and wonderful conversation, I thought about it. I am privileged to be able to talk to people from all over the world about democracy. This meeting was arranged a week in advance. It was coordinated with the express purpose of talking about voting rights in Oklahoma. Earlier this year, you may have heard that I had an opportunity to go to Taiwan, where they were talking to us about their democracy and how precious it is to them and how afraid they are that something might happen where they lose their democracy. Just about a month and a half ago, I was able to meet with representatives from Myanmar, formerly Burma. And again, it was another country who was trying desperately to hang on to their democracy. And they wanted to talk to someone about it. They wanted to ask if there was any kind of way that we as Americans could speak up and help them to protect their democracy. Because they understand that democracy is fleeting. They understand that democracy must be protected at all costs. They understand that we have to show up every time that there's a vote to be cast and cast that vote. And that's what struck me every time I listened to people from other countries talk about democracy and how they were desperately trying to hang on to it, and they needed us to help them hang on to their democracy. It occurred to me that in America, and particularly in Oklahoma, folks are taking democracy for granted. We can't afford to take democracy for granted. Every election counts, and every facet or aspect of our life is affected by who we elect. All the decisions, good or bad, that affect our lives long term are affected by who we vote for or who we don't vote for. Every election matters, and democracy is a contact sport. You can't sit back and let someone else vote their values and think that your values are going to be taken care of. If you believe in something, you have to vote for folks who are going to support or at least not tear down the thing that you believe in. I live in Oklahoma, where our electeds are trying to take away bodily autonomy from not just women, but people trying to take the right of people to have self-determination of who they are. I live in Oklahoma, where our state elected officials are working diligently to tear down the public education system. I live in Oklahoma, where legislators do not like the fact that we have a form of direct democracy in the form of ballot initiative process, and they're trying to dismantle that. The way that we stop these destructive behaviors is that we vote every time. And we vote for people who will support, who will champion, who believes in those issues. Right now, what we have is a majority who's trying to tear it down. And they will be successful if we allow them to go unchecked. The way we check them is to vote every time. Are you picking up on my thing? Vote every time. Our democracy, apparently, is not static. You all saw January 6th, 2021. Our democracy is not static. Our rights are not static. We have to fight for them every time we are called to fight for them. I just want to come on and share today my experience of watching people from other countries talk about how great democracy is, talk about how desperate they are to hang on to their democracy and participate, with the hopes that we will recognize how precious our democracy is and how we must fight. And hopefully we will all stand and fight for our democracy. If you're not sure if your voter's registration is up to date because you don't know the last time you voted, or you're not sure if you got an address verification card, you can now update and register. You can register to vote online at the Oklahoma State Voter Portal. You can register online, and you can update your voter's registration. Vote where you live, because you're voting for folks who are going to affect the streets right outside your house. Vote where you live. Don't vote at Big Mama house. Vote at your house. Make sure that you're registered at your house. Our democracy is precious. We all have to fight for it. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back here tomorrow at 4:15.